All right, here's a tightened pass. Sharper 2026 framing throughout, and the case study numbers checked for consistency. There's a woman named Sarah, an elementary school teacher outside Columbus, Ohio, earning $52,000 a year. She's never gone viral, never flexed anything. But in 2026, at age 47, her retirement account hit $410,000. Not from an inheritance, not from a risky bet, not from some secret side hustle. The answer is far more boring than that. 19 years ago, she opened an account paying a real rate of return, automated a deposit, and never touched it. Now compare that to Michael, a business consultant, $140,000 a year, nearly 3 times what Sarah makes. Michael always looked more successful. Newer car, more vacation photos. But at the same age, his retirement savings sit at $95,000. Higher income, smaller result. This isn't about who earns more. It's about who understood one shift that's quietly building a new kind of middle-class wealth in 2026, while most people don't even realize it's happening. Here's why this year specifically. For most of the 2010s, savings interest was basically nothing. The Federal Reserve tracked average traditional savings rates sitting below 0.5% for over a decade, practically meaningless. Saving felt pointless because, mathematically, it nearly was. But since rates climbed starting in 2022 and 2023, simple instruments, high-yield savings accounts, CDs, short-term treasuries, started paying around 5%. 3 years later, in 2026, that rate has held long enough to actually reshape the trajectory of ordinary earners who used it. This isn't a blip anymore, it's a window. What you do with it now shapes where you stand a decade from today. Here's the misunderstanding. People hear 5% and assume it's small, nothing compared to a raise or a bonus. That assumption is wrong. The math says otherwise. Here's how it actually works. Say you put $10,000 into something paying 5% a year and never add another dollar. Over 19 years at 5% returns, that becomes approximately $25,300. Now add a simple $400 monthly deposit on top of that, starting from zero. That number climbs past $410,000 over the same 19 years. That's before any raise, any bonus, any other investment, purely from a quiet habit running on autopilot. This is the foundation of the new middle class being built right now, not spectacular wealth, real financial security. I am not done yet, because this isn't just about the numbers. It's about psychology. Compounding behaves like a snowball, barely noticeable for the first 3 to 5 years, then it starts to feel real somewhere around year 8 to 12, and it accelerates hard after that. The problem is, most people quit at the most boring point, year 2, year 3, because nothing dramatic has happened yet, and they assume the strategy isn't working. Meanwhile, they're standing right before the point where it takes off. The math is brutal for people who give up too early and generous for people who wait, even without needing to become a millionaire to feel the difference. Let's break down why most people never get there, especially in a high-rate environment like this one. Here are the reasons. 1. They treat savings interest as passive, so they never compare their bank to other options. The average traditional savings account in America still pays under 0.5%, even in 2026, while high-yield accounts pay 10 times that for nearly identical risk. 2. They equate safe with producing nothing, but an account paying 5% is still low risk. It's not stocks, not crypto, not a bet. 3. They get spooked by minor market noise and pull their money before compounding has a chance to work. 4. They never automate the deposit, so it depends on monthly willpower instead of a system. 5. They compare interest gains to short-term salary raises when compound interest only shows its real power past year 8 or 10. 6. They don't realize that money sitting in a low-interest account is quietly losing real value to inflation every year, while 5% in 2026 at least keeps pace with it, or beats it. 7. They assume this high-rate window will last forever, or the opposite, that it's already too late, 4 years in. Either assumption is wrong. There's still enough runway left to build a real foundation from here. Now, back to Sarah and Michael, because this is where the gap becomes real. Sarah started putting away $400 a month at 28, automatically transferred the same day her paycheck landed. She didn't have to think about it once the system was running. When rates climbed to around 5% starting in 2022, she simply moved her existing savings into a high-yield account and changed nothing else about her life. She never upgraded her house beyond what she needed. Her car ran for 10 years. She never tracked the exact interest she was earning until one day in early 2026, she checked her total and surprised herself. Michael, on the other hand, always meant to start saving after the next promotion. Every raise came with a faster lifestyle upgrade. Money moved through his hands, but almost none of it stuck around long enough to earn anything. Even when 5% rates became common knowledge in 2023, he had no surplus left to move. He wasn't reckless. He just never let his money sit still long enough to work for him. Same starting point 19 years ago. Wildly different outcome today. This isn't about who's smarter, and it isn't about becoming a millionaire. It's about who let time and interest do their work, uninterrupted, in the window that happens to be open right now. So, what can you actually do? Starting now, step by step. This week, check the interest rate on your current savings account. If it's under 1%, that's the first sign your money is quietly losing value, especially in a high-rate environment like this one. Look at 2 or 3 FDIC-insured high-yield savings options. No need to move everything at once. This month, set up an automatic transfer on payday. Not at the end of the month with whatever's left, but on day one before it has a chance to get spent. Even $100 to $200 a month is enough to get this machine moving, and enough to start building a steadier, more stable foundation, not overnight wealth. This quarter, take a look at whether your deposit amount can grow alongside your salary or bonus without your lifestyle growing right along with it. This isn't about deprivation. It's about intention. If your next raise genuinely lines up with something you value enjoying, go ahead. Just make it a conscious choice, not a default. This isn't financial advice. Talk to a professional who understands your specific situation, especially around interest-bearing accounts and the tax rules where you live. Because in the end, this new middle class isn't being built on market luck or a spectacular salary. It's being built by ordinary people who let a simple number work quietly in a window that happens to be open right now, without needing anyone to applaud it. Real wealth whispers. And in 2026, it's whispering in a number as simple as 5%.